guess what I got? Standing me up. Repair stands, that is. Yes, dad jokes all day at this station. Gonna review a few of these after this.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin the guy. Obviously, I have a garage shop. Taking scary how to use bikes one bike at a time.
If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.
Well, today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, mechanics, and just novice alike in the cycling world, I got a plethora of repair stands. Quite a few I want to just go over and give you some insights. I have done videos before, which I'll put here, which has gotten a lot of traction, so I figured that's a pretty good hot topic. So I'll be a little more detail on this one with some accessories in addition to, hey, this one's going to be in 4K, so I'm not going to be so grainy. Here we go. Starting off with my journey of repair stands back in the day. So you got yourself a consumer stand, which the Parks PCS-1 is actually a really good repair stand for recreational use. This particular one, you don't have a height adjustment to it, but it does have a good leg stance to it, which is these guys that span out. I believe it comes with the tray, and this has this little nice clamp on it, which is pretty decent if you're just going to be adjusting a trailer, fixing a flat, that kind of thing. But if you're going to do something a little more heftier, there are similar ones of these still coming out today that are new. I'll put some links below so you can kind of check those out. Parks is one of the leading tool brands out there, but Feedback is probably one of my favorite consumer stands out there, and they've been around for a long time, a couple decades. But we're going to stick with Park for right now. This part of it, this is just your recreational one. And yeah, it's kind of limited. And the reason why you have repair stands is getting off the ground, not doing the shady tree mechanic thing with the bicycle upside down, which I've done many years when I was a kid. This actually makes it a lot easier and be able to identify those issues and fix things right the first time. So that's definitely a benefit for sure. These little pants, they fold up, they're nice, they get out of the way. This one doesn't fold up like very well, but it's enough to throw in a corner of your shop. So yeah, good going Park, and they've been making decent ones. They have a couple different models, obviously. This is just what I have in my actual plethora of repair stands. Why do I have so many repair stands? Well, let me tell you a story. So some buddies of mine, we do the MS-150 charity ride, and there's 3 of us, so we need repair stands to do such event. For a while, I was being sponsored by a bike shop locally here when I worked for them, Lee Cyclery, and we would be able to get stuff from them and do the events. But since then, they've been bought, and I basically have gone on my own to do it for a couple years before I did I Know a Guy Bicycles. And now as I Know a Guy Bicycles, we go out there, same crew, we do the same thing, but we had to have our own stuff. So I had a couple repair stands I acquired during bike purchases when I refurbished road bikes, but the repair stands we actually use for that particular event. And obviously we want something that's decent, that's going to hold up, which is great. And because we go through like a couple hundred bikes in a couple days, so it's something that we really kind of rely on to work for us. And nobody wants the bad stand out of the group. So, and it usually ends up me because, I'm the short end of the straw kind of guy. But anyway, that's why I ended up buying a couple nice stands in this last season, going to be out there again this year. So that's why repair stands I still have, and I just haven't sold them off because I need them for that particular event. And hey, let's face it, it's kind of nice to have a repair stand when you go out and look at bikes. Also have one in each car, so if I come across somebody that needs some help, I'm actually available to do so, that kind of thing. So hey, it's kind of nice. I have sold a few of them, I wouldn't have had too many. That's the kind of thing. So going into my journey of stands, that was a good consumer one. The other one here, and they don't sell these anymore, but it's called the Wrench Force. Now, Wrench Force was made by Trek, and this was a pretty solid, decent one. You may find something like this out and about, and it has a similar span just like the Park, but just a little bit beefier. But this one does have an adjustment, so you can adjust up and down. When I started doing the refurbished bike thing, I got one of these, and this one actually did pretty well for me. Only problem is it kind of rocked backwards sometimes, and it fell over and knocked into some bikes, which is not the greatest thing, but for recreational use, it is definitely solid, and this thing is stout. Very, very stout. Very, very stout. But going back to my journey and starting off repairing bikes about, it's almost 20 years now. I got this guy from Ultimate. Ultimate is actually the former company of Feedback Sports. Feedback, I don't know if it bought or what, I think they were bought, but originally the Ultimate stands were being built in Fort Collins, Colorado. Now the main company is in Golden and Colorado still. Even though it may have changed companies or were purchased so forth, it's the same, still good quality products to put into it. Believe it or not, I've had this for 20 years, and this bad boy still works really well. And this is where the first beginning of their slide lock system was introduced. And you kind of see it's been through a few extra bolts. I've had to replace the dog ears inside a couple times on this one over the years. But when I started doing refurbishing, this is my go-to. Really solid. I can put a lot of weight into it. I've actually used this with tandems. And it has this slide out system, which works pretty well. This was the first, basically almost the first iteration of the last one I'm going to show you. So stay tuned, watch that one. That's the best one, the Pro. But this is like the predecessor, the beginner of this. This worked really well. The only reason I switched this one up is I got more of a consumer one, which I'm going to feature now. But this was a good, decent one for pretty much starting off and doing what I did. This was actually a really rock solid repair stand. And they fold up even more so with the tri-leg footprint. It actually is a lot more stable, so it doesn't rock back and forth like I mentioned on the other one. It had some pretty much issues, but this is a pretty decent. So any age of a Ultimate or Feedback repair stand, you got a good one. And you can still get the parts for these too. Mind blowing, right? You usually can't do that with a lot of repair stands. And the reason why I went to the consumer one, which is this bad boy here. This is the Parks PRS-2.2 and has two sides. It has their adjustable rocker clamp, which is good. The reason I like this one is it's something that you put in one place and you leave it. And it's solid. This is like, puts a lot of weight. Oh, my 200-pound. And you can put a lot of weight on it. It works really well. You can get also a lot of parts. I actually bought this one used, luckily, and it was in really good shape, so I didn't have to do a lot of refurbishing. The used ones on these are still really expensive, and sometimes you have to buy extra parts to make it up to par. But if you notice, it comes with a tray, but also I've reutilized the tray from the Feedback, because when I was using this on my original stand, I loved it so much because it has a lot more space and a lot more places to put tools with a towel holder. It's something I just can't live without. I got used to it, so that's why it's on this too. So I basically use both of them to kind of hold tools and so forth. And that, in my situation, this is stationary. It doesn't need to go anywhere. These are usually sold without the base. You have to buy the huge steel plate, which is like 50 pounds or plus to do that. You can anchor these into the concrete, which we've done before in other shops. But this is why I've gone to this one. But for any time I'm outside the door of the garage here, I am referring to my Feedback repair stands. Going to second, almost to the end. What I have, and Feedback has about 4 different stands. This is the lower end one, the Sport. And the Sport is just really good. And they all have the 3-leg extension. And the mechanism here is very similar, maybe just a little bit beefier. But if you notice, this has very similarities to the one I had before with that locking feature, slide feature. And this one doesn't have it. but the jaws are the same. You can get replacements for those. Also, what's really nice is it is very adjustable. It'll go up very high, and the footprint spans out. And I like this design a little bit better than the old Ultimate one because it's a little bit easier to deal with, because you'd have to fight with those legs sometimes to do what it was supposed to do. So without knocking anything over, here we go. So this has a pretty decent footprint. You can get height. I'm a pretty tall dude, so I like my bikes to be elevated pretty high to work on them, so I'm not bending over. And this has a pretty good height span, so if you are a taller individual, that works really well. So this is very solid. It holds up really well. And we've gone through a couple events with this one. Not a problem at all whatsoever. And also this little tray mount you can get as an accessory to go that clamps onto this portion here. It slides right on, which is pretty cool. And you can buy like the bags for like 30 bucks or so to put them in for transport if you want so. But without further ado, drum roll. The Pro. I've been one of these for years, and since I finally got to a position where I could afford to get one, I didn't hesitate. So this guy has a little bit beefier clamp system here that holds the actual arm extension, but you got alloy bits for the expansion, same kind of mechanism for doing the 3-leg tripod, which is awesome. Nice and sporty red, you won't be missed out in the field. And again, this one has that very high adjustment as well. This thing is very solid. They also sell this mechanism here to replace the park arm here as well, which fits in, which will be my next investment. These little guys, they're fine, they're nice, they work really well, but I kind of prefer this one. It's a little more stout and beefier. Granted, you know, it's a person, you know, when we're working in a lot of shops, you get a kind of a personal preference to certain things. This is one of them. This is something that's very solid, and what's really cool about this is you lock that bike down, whoop, whoop, real quick, and when you're done, don't push the red button. There it is. Let's do that again. It's just kind of fun to do, right? And now it's just getting really annoying. Okay, so that's what's really cool about this guy, replaceable jaws. And, you know, you can really flip it, you know, to get the bike around and moving and so forth. They have a newer version called HD, which has a lot of similarities to this, but just beefier. And it has some strength tensions to it where you can actually put those heavier e-bikes on there, as well as the heavier mountain bikes. This will hold those, but the other ones, those are just, you know, the HD is really stout. Trying to get my hands on one of those. I'll definitely make a video on that particular one, a review, but for right now, I want to review this guy. Again, gotta push that button. So what's really cool about this is the accessories you can get on it. This particular bad boy that you can put on this guy, as well as the Sport, which you can do the clamp towel thing as well with the pad. But this is what really intrigued me. I'm going to show this in a mechanic perspective, you know, working on stuff. And I do have a video on this guy, the kit, the almighty of all mini kits. This one's really cool. It comes with all these tools, except for the Allens. You buy those separately. You can just buy a separate Allen set. You don't have to do the super high one, but it does have all your Ys and all your tools. And what's really cool about this, it has a tent pole kind of extension here, which holds this guy in place, flapped out. But this is the cool part. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, you do these 2 Velcro straps and you have all your tools right at hand when you're working on that bike. So, you're out in the field and you're doing your thing, trying to crank through as many repairs as you can because you got a lot of people that need help. You got your screwdrivers and everything right here. You can put them right back so they don't get mixed up on a table of a hot mess of tools at the end of the day. All goes in here, nice, accessible. It stays out of the way when you're actually working on the bike. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. That's all I gotta say. And pushing the red button again. Here we go. So yeah, if you have on a budget and you can't really afford the little more expensive one, definitely go with the Sport. The Parks make pretty decent ones too, but honestly, from my hands-on experience, the Feedback Sports kind of really do stand out a little bit better. Even the less expensive one, you will not be disappointed with. And the upper end one, if you do have the budget to spend for it, get this guy here. I would really highly recommend, if you can't afford this one and the tool holder or this bad boy, which is kind of pricey, but definitely worth it. I would kind of go with the cheaper one to get the tools, but hey, you only live once and you gotta have the right tool to do the job right. This is the guy to do it. These tools I've used on my actually fitting area, as well as some mixed in with my set of park tools that I work here. It's a great complementary tool set to work for both. So yeah, and what's really cool about this, at the end of the day, you're done. Boop. Take this guy off, like so. And my little trick on this guy is I don't pull the whole thing out. You can put the temp pull back in here, but I found if you can just do this and you're not fighting it with it later, and these tools just flip right back up, clamps together, grab your zipper. Now it's not gonna do it to me. Oh, there we go. And your day in the field is done. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed these repair stands and review. If you have any questions or have any comments on stands of your own, hey, comment below. Love to hear what you use and what you thought of the ones I have here. Hey, again, thank you. Have a great day. And then see you next time from the garage.